give you some, maybe I will give you some programs to run over the discussion board, because, and then have to write some more stuff on it, because otherwise it doesn't seem too much complete right now. I thought some of the examples we will see running, but I still am kind of at loss how to run it in a way. These are all kind of like good examples, but when I try to run it, it is not that happy. Okay, so there was a first proc, so it did run. Okay. And it said some test written on a file. So this program did run, but again, how it ran and the whole details of it are a little bit different. So I created a file writer, and then a print writer, and then did a print line on it, and then did a close on it. So the whole process is a little bit, to understand the whole process is a little bit more involved, in the sense that
Did you write that comment on that file?
Hmm?
Did you write the comment in the file?
Yes, this was written in the file.
You can't open the file?
I can,
Okay.
right.
So if you can open it, I think that may show us.
That will make sure that it is
It'll
written.
show us like one step out of the process.
No, I know. So this is the file. This is the file that it wrote. It wrote Eclipse Workspace, first program, test.txt. That was the test.txt file, and it should have some text written on a file, and that it has some text written on the file. So this program that I showed you, it did write something to the file, which is not a big deal. Means there are so many different ways of writing to the file. It's just that, and then of course there are so many different things reading from the file. It's just that there are so many different ways. And then it becomes a little bit more, okay, which ways should I explain in a way that I could explain it better, that you can use it better. And in Java there are so many different ways. And that's why there are scanners and stuff which are a little bit more simpler objects that are a little bit more direct. Because if you look at this diagram is showing that there is a reader, there is a file reader, there is an input stream reader, and it goes into a reader. And then there is a file writer, there is output stream writer that goes into a writer. Now each of these objects you can use to write somehow, but they all do it a little bit differently, and they have all the reasons for doing it a little bit differently. One would do it in a buffered way, one would do it in a little bit different way, and things like that. So, and then just to explain it and then show a good example, I was not able to do it in a very good way that could kind of like help you. So I went into a very generic way, but then I don't have good examples before we go into the files. So what I'll do is I will give you some very basic examples that you can run in Eclipse, and then you will see some of those results and outputs. and then hopefully hopefully use it so that you can use it a little bit more easily. You can use it for your own programs and stuff. Otherwise, very generic kind of thing, the conceptual is not that helpful so far. So, but we will see that. We'll have to go through files also. And again, files is also one of those things that initially I put it in the beginning of the lecture and then put the input output at the end of the lecture. So that we understand what files are, how they're used. But then I thought, no, input output makes more sense, it's more concept. But then we went more into concepts and then didn't go into files. But anyways, next lecture we will do files first and then do some functions and stuff, hopefully, so that we understand a little bit more. And then we'll have the last one for different type of things, questions or any other thing that we need to cover to make it, to kind of cover enough that people can use those things. Like take input, write to files, read from files, and write some basic programs that does loops and condition statements to make it meaningful results. Alright, sorry about that. Today's class there was not a good example for me. I was thinking that we will have some examples, or at least we'll go through enough example today that we understand input output a little bit more. Although we understand it, means we already have done some input output, but I wanted to show it on a file, input output, and also to use, instead of scanner, use input stream reader and stuff to read from keyboard, which I was not able to do. So mainly I give an example to read from keyboard through input stream readers and stuff with some comments, and then we'll give another example to write to file and another example to read from file. So hopefully that should do, and then you guys can use it a little bit more.
Can you do a read from a array of files?
Like which regular files?
Just if you have just 5 text documents.
Text.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're looking for Abdul in one of the documents.
Right.
Can you do that?
Yes.
And does it have any limitations?
Means there could be some limitations in the sense that how big means there are no limitations as such, but so theoretically there are no limitations. You can do that. If there is a file that you want to read, and then you can keep on reading until you find something, then you can always do that.
Can it go out also?
Go
Outside, like go internet?
You can go internet, but going to internet is not, so you have to get something down from internet and then search in it.
Oh, it has to be local then.
So it becomes local, right?
Okay.
You can, to go internet is a whole big story. You can get something from internet. There are ways of means Java is very good in connecting to internet in all different ways. Very, very powerful. And most of the internet stuff is on Java. So yeah, you can always do it, but there is a different ways of how you do it. And that's the whole thing. Like a file is kind of simple, but they have created so many different things because each thing has a little bit more than other, or how you handle a file, how you do different things on a file, because how the whole operating system works, and then the whole disk work and all that. There are a little bit of things here and there. So, but yes, theoretically, at least for us, what we will do is we will write whatever we want to write onto a file, and we will read whatever line by line from a file. And then once you read it, you can do whatever you want to do with what you have gotten from the file. End of the class time. Don't want to go over the class time. So